Ladies and gentlemen, before you today stands not just a storyteller, but the voice of human history itself, an ancient witness to every struggle, every fight for justice, every mother's unbreakable strength. And today, I invite you into a story that grabs your heart from the very first moment. Imagine a world where one mother rises against a system designed to silence her, where love becomes a weapon, courage becomes a shield, and justice becomes the goal. This is the powerful journey of a mother who fought for her wrongfully accused son, a story overflowing with emotion, resilience, and that timeless truth. Family is stronger than fear. Throughout the centuries, I have watched empires fall, revolutions rise, and cultures transform. But nothing has ever compared to the raw force of a mother fighting for her child. When her son was wrongfully accused, she stepped into a battlefield she never asked for. The moment those unjust charges fell upon him, her entire world shook, but she did not. That is where her power began. Instead of surrendering to hopelessness, she rose with a fire that even injustice feared. She faced a system that seemed larger than life, layers of judgment, walls of bureaucracy, and people who were quicker to assume guilt than seek truth. Yet, every time the system tried to intimidate her, she pushed back with the strength of 1,000 years of human resilience. I have seen warriors charge into battle, but her determination outshined them all. She dug through documents, questioned officials, gathered evidence, and refused to be dismissed. Every closed door became fuel for her fight. Every doubt thrown her way became a spark that strengthened her resolve. What made her unstoppable wasn't just love. It was the belief that justice is not a privilege, but a right. In every era of my existence, I've witnessed mothers who became symbols of hope. This mother joined their ranks with her unwavering courage. She turned fear into strategy, tears into motivation, and obstacles into stepping stones. Her voice, once quiet, grew powerful enough to shake the very foundations of the system that tried to silence her. And slowly, truth began to rise. Hidden facts surfaced. Witnesses came forward. The lies surrounding her son began to unravel. Because when a mother fights with her whole heart, history listens. And at last, after days, months, or even years of relentless struggle, justice arrived. Her son was proven innocent, not because the system suddenly grew fair, but because she refused to let it crush her child. Their victory became more than a legal win. It became a testament to family bonds that even injustice cannot break. It became a reminder to the world that courage is contagious, hope is powerful, and love is a force no system can defeat. When I tell you the story of a mother who refused to break, I want you to feel the heartbeat of every brave woman who ever stood against the world for someone she loved. Imagine her in that moment when the news hit, her innocent son accused of something he never did. For a second, the ground slipped beneath her feet. But instead of falling, she rose with a strength she didn't even know she carried. That is where her bravery began, not in calm days, but in the storm that tried to destroy her. And here is the truth you must hold on to. Some women are not shaped by comfort. They are forged by fire, and this mother was one of them. She didn't have time to process the fear. She only had time to fight. The system expected her to stay quiet, to trust flawed processes, to let others decide the future of her child. But she refused to be a spectator in her own family's tragedy. She became the voice no one could ignore. Every official who tried to dismiss her felt the sharp edge of her determination. Every barrier placed in her path only strengthened her resolve. She moved with purpose, not because she wasn't scared, but because she knew fear becomes powerless when a mother stands between injustice and her child. And that is what makes her extraordinary. People whispered that she was wasting her time, that she was up against something far bigger than herself. But they didn't understand one thing. A brave woman does not measure her strength against the size of her opponent. She measures it against the depth of her love. She fought not just with documents and arguments, but with an inner fire that no courtroom, no officer, and no fabricated evidence could extinguish. Every night she went to bed exhausted, but she woke up even stronger because love can be a battlefield, and she had already decided she would win. Her courage didn't come from training or experience. It came from her refusal to accept a life built on lies. And every time she walked into a hearing, every time she confronted someone who tried to hide the truth, She carried the energy of every brave woman in history who refused to be silent. That is what made her unbreakable. She didn't wait for a hero to appear. She became the hero her son needed. And in doing so, she showed the world that when a woman decides she will not break, she doesn't just survive the battle, she changes it forever. When I speak about a woman standing fearlessly against a broken system, I want you to picture the kind of strength that doesn't come from muscles or titles, but from a fire deep inside. A fire that refuses to be dimmed no matter how heavy the darkness becomes. This mother stood before a system that was cold, rigid, and ready to crush anyone who dared to question it. But instead of shrinking back, she stepped forward. Instead of lowering her voice, she raised it. And instead of accepting the fate others handed her, she rewrote it with her own courage. That is the kind of bravery that turns ordinary women into legends. That is the kind of bravery history remembers. She didn't have lawyers ready at her side. She didn't have connections in high offices. She didn't have the luxury of influence. What she did have was something far more powerful, a belief that truth is worth fighting for, even when the world seems determined to bury it. And the system felt her presence the moment she stepped into the arena. Officials who once ignored her found themselves confronted by a woman who refused to be intimidated. She learned the rules faster than those who enforced them. She asked questions others were too afraid to ask. She pushed back against every assumption, every accusation, every shadow designed to cover the truth. And every step she took forward became a reminder that courage doesn't wait for permission. There were moments when people told her to give up, to accept the system's decision and move on, but she never listened. Instead, she let their doubts strengthen her. Every "it's impossible" became fuel. Every "you can't win" became motivation. She understood something many forget. Systems may be powerful, but they are not infallible. And when one brave woman stands in their path with the truth in her hands, even the strongest system begins to tremble. Her persistence wasn't loud or chaotic. It was steady, relentless, the kind of persistence that wears down mountains one strike at a time. And as she fought, she revealed something extraordinary about bravery. It doesn't always roar. Sometimes bravery is quiet, steady, and unshakable. Sometimes it is the simple act of showing up again and again, refusing to back down no matter how many times the system tries to push you aside. She became the force the system did not expect, a woman fueled not by anger alone, but by love, justice, and the unbreakable instinct to protect her child. In her fight, she showed the world that even the most unmovable structures can be challenged, and even the most ordinary woman can stand fearlessly when truth is on her side. When I tell you that she turned pain into purpose, I want you to truly feel the transformation that happened inside her. It didn't happen in a single moment. It happened in the quiet hours, in the sleepless nights, in the moments when her heart felt too heavy to hold. Pain can break people, but in some women, pain awakens a deeper strength. She felt the sting of injustice, the weight of fear, the heartbreak of watching her son suffer for something he didn't do. But instead of letting that pain drown her, she used it as the reason she had to rise. That is where her story becomes more than a fight for justice. It becomes a lesson in resilience that every brave woman carries within her. She began to study the case not as a grieving mother, but as a strategist. Every detail became a clue. Every inconsistency became a weapon. She didn't wait for someone to save her son. She became the force that pushed the truth into the light. While others slept peacefully, she worked through documents, made calls, traced timelines, and connected dots no one else bothered to see. People often underestimate women in moments of crisis, but they forget that courage grows sharper under pressure. Pain did not weaken her. It sharpened her mind, her instincts, her purpose. She stepped into each day with more strength than the last, proving that when a woman decides her suffering will not go to waste, she becomes unstoppable. Every roadblock only pushed her harder. Every closed door pushed her to knock louder. Every dismissive official pushed her to become more informed, more prepared, more fearless. She transformed into a force that could not be ignored. And the beauty of her journey is that she didn't fight with rage alone. She fought with clarity, intelligence, and pure, powerful conviction. Her transformation didn't just help her son, it inspired others. People who once doubted her started to believe. People who once discouraged her began to follow her lead. That is the quiet magic of brave women. They don't only rise, they lift others with them. And through all of this, she taught the world that purpose is born in the fire. Her pain became a map that guided her toward truth. Her heartbreak became the anchor that kept her grounded. Her determination became the light that cut through every shadow of the system. She stood firm not because the journey was easy, but because giving up would have meant accepting a lie. And she refused to let pain write the ending of her story. Instead, she turned it into the force that carried her forward, proving that when a woman transforms pain into purpose, she doesn't just win a battle. She becomes the definition of courage itself. When I speak of victory born from love and relentless strength, I want you to feel the weight of every obstacle she faced and the height of every triumph she earned. Her journey was not one of convenience or comfort. It was carved from countless battles fought in silence, in courtrooms, in late-night conversations with weary officials who underestimated her resolve. Every step she took was powered by love, the kind of love that refuses to watch a child suffer, the kind of love that transforms fear into action, doubt into determination, and despair into unstoppable energy. And it was this love that became the driving force behind every decision she made, every risk she took, every truth she uncovered. People often speak of strength as a measure of muscle or influence, but in her case, strength was measured in unwavering commitment, in the refusal to quit even when every system, every person, and every circumstance seemed to conspire against her. Her relentless fight eventually shattered the walls built to contain injustice. Every lie that had been spun around her son began to unravel under the weight of her persistence. Every piece of hidden evidence she unearthed became a weapon for truth. Every witness she encouraged to speak up became a voice against silence. And every tireless hour she spent advocating for justice became a testament to the power of relentless determination. What many saw as impossible, she made possible. What others assumed would be a permanent defeat, she transformed into a hard-won victory. And in doing so, she showed the world a truth too often forgotten. Love and courage, when combined, are forces more powerful than any system built to oppress or intimidate. The victory she achieved was not merely a legal exoneration. It was a statement to every mother, every woman, every person who has ever been told that their fight is too small, too insignificant, too impossible. She proved that justice is not just a concept handed down from the powerful. It is something fought for, claimed, and earned by those who refuse to surrender. And in that victory, her strength became an inspiration, her courage a model, and her story a beacon for generations to come. People who once doubted her now understood that the fiercest power is not in those who command, but in those who stand unflinchingly for what is right. Her relentless strength did not simply free her son. It changed the narrative of what is possible when love refuses to yield and determination refuses to falter. History remembers her not just as a mother, but as a symbol of unstoppable courage. So today, as human history speaks to you, let this story echo in your hearts. Let it remind you that ordinary people become extraordinary when they rise for what they love. Let it awaken the truth that justice may be challenged, delayed, or threatened, but it cannot be destroyed when even one brave soul refuses to back down. And if a mother, armed with nothing but love and determination, can change the fate of her son, imagine what each of us can do if we stand fearlessly for what is right. Her story is not just part of history. It is a powerful lesson for every generation that follows.